This is SSPTV News, brought to you by Samsung Productions and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
There was a lot going on in the sky over Hazleton on Monday. We have an eclipse story and we'll fly high with the Wings of Freedom tour. What an exciting Monday it was. I can't wait to tell you all about it, but first allow me to introduce myself. I'm Ken Kara. Thank you for watching, and remember, we are available in crystal clear HD on Service Electric Cablevision channel 513, and you can watch us anytime on the Samsung Productions app. Now our headlines from SSPTV and the Hazleton Standard Speaker. So yesterday I went to a party instead of work. I met a lot of really cool people. We stared at the sun for a bit safely. Let's head to my alma mater for some highlights from Penn State Hazleton's Eclipse viewing party. You won't need your Eclipse glasses. The 2017 solar eclipse taught us about science, but it also taught us about economics and business, supply and demand. When did you get your eclipse glasses, and how much did you pay? If you didn't get glasses, the 2017 eclipse may have illustrated another reason breakfast is so important.
We searched all over the greater Hazleton area, New Jersey and New York, for the glasses, and of course they were all sold out. We were last minute, so this morning after seeing some YouTube videos, we grabbed empty cereal boxes and made our solar eclipse viewers.
Cereal boxes seem very popular too. I mean, you guys are
who else has pumpkin spice solar eclipse glasses and cinnamon toast crunch? So
Eclipse viewing party goers at Penn State Hazleton enjoyed many different ways to witness the eclipse. We met Patricia Gronsky from Hazleton at the telescope, rocking her 2017 solar eclipse t-shirt.
I was very excited about today. I've actually seen this once before, but now I'm older, so it's going to be a whole lot different.
Do you remember? So was that what, the 1970s? Like, what was it like?
Yeah, it was a lot different because not everybody had glasses and they didn't have like public viewing like this, so you kind of had to do just something at your home. So this is a whole lot better.
Corey Poncavage brought this solar-powered computer fan to the party. Joe Rinaldi is the coordinator for Penn State Hazleton's Alternative Energy and Power Generation Engineering program. He was very interested in the fan because he was working on a little experiment during the eclipse.
I've been collecting data to use in my classes coming up in future semesters and future years to look at how much the eclipse reduced the production of our solar array here on campus. So Germany is one of the world leaders in solar energy, and just a couple years ago they had a large eclipse as well, and they actually used it as a stress test for their planning and everything else. And what I've read is that much the same sort of thing is going on here. They're looking at how their strategies to deal with this kind of thing are working, and whether they're able to bring new generation on to match the drop due to the eclipse and then phase it back out as the eclipse ends.
Poncavage, who's a member of the Greater Hazleton Area Astronomical Society, also brought more fun stuff to the party. He had meteorites and this solar telescope. You can really see some sunspots through that telescope. Another cool thing about this party, you could pretty much just yell out, "What's a sunspot?" and get an answer.
They're actually cooler areas, as I understand it, where there's the sun is a very dynamic place. So there's massive eruptions of they call them like coronal mass ejections, and related to that, the sunspots are just areas where it would be different temperatures, where subsurface material made its way to the surface, or vice versa, and just creates a different type of visual phenomenon that you can see.
Around the time the moon was finishing its visit with the sun, we met up with the party's host, Dr. David Starling. He's an assistant professor of physics at Penn State Hazleton.
How important are events like this to maybe get the general public interested in the Earth, the world, you know, just things in general? You think it hooks people in a little bit?
Absolutely. It's something that they can actually see with their own eyes for a change. And so one of the things that's really important right now, I think, is to start to get a better appreciation for science and how it incorporates in with our society. And this is just one way for people to see a little bit of that science in action. And hopefully by getting them here on campus, we can motivate them to maybe learn a little bit more and maybe make a career out of science, or at least appreciate it enough to, fund it in government, for example, things like that.
Well, this was a lot of fun. Let's do it all again in 7 years. Is everyone cool with that?
In 7 years, we're going to see the path of totality come a lot closer than it did today. It's going to be as close as Rochester, New York, which is a 4-hour drive approximately. So in 7 years, we'll be a lot closer to totality. The partial eclipse will probably be stronger, so we'll be able to see a bigger overlap of the moon and the sun.
I hope to see all of my friends again in 2024. Yesterday also marked the first day of classes at Penn State Hazleton. Well, I was asked if I wanted to go aboard a World War II plane and I chickened out. So instead, John Eric Poli had the opportunity to fly in Hazleton. Just an FYI, John wrote this script and I didn't edit it because he's totally right. That's what happened. Here's his coverage of the Wings of Freedom tour.
Yesterday, planes touched down at the Hazleton Regional Airport. But the planes that were landing in Hazleton weren't ordinary planes. They were actually planes that were flown during World War II. The planes were put on display by the Collings Foundation as part of their Wings of Freedom tour, which is used to support living history of World War II. While the year's 2017, everyone that got to come to the Wings of Freedom tour today got to relive what it was like in World War II. One of those people who got to relive history was myself, as I had the opportunity to fly above Hazleton in Witchcraft, which was a B-24J Liberator used as a bomber in World War II. The experience was something special, as I got to move around the plane and see what it was like for members of the Air Force during that time. Robert Pinkston flew the plane I was on, and he describes the experience of flying the historical plane.
It's pretty incredible. I mean, when you think back and just think about the kids younger than me doing it back in World War II, and then, you're flying the last remaining B-24, it's pretty cool to think about.
Once our flight landed, people began to tour the planes. One of those people was Michael Esposito, who was reliving history in a much different way than myself, as he was a former aerial gunner during World War II, and he shared his story with me.
I get a lump in my throat. It's like a lot of my buddies got shot down, and I think of them. One of them, we had 3 more missions to go, and they got shot down. That's what I mean, and brings back memories of how a bomber come back with all holes in it, but we made it.
It's experiences like Esposito's and mine, which is why the Collings Foundation has been putting on their Wings of Freedom tour since 1989.
Not enough is taught in schools about World War II. So this is a great opportunity for people to come out and see the aircraft that were used during that all-important World War II. And also to meet World War II veterans, because we still have plenty of them that show up to look at the airplanes.
World War II may have ended 72 years ago, but for anyone that attended yesterday's event, they will never forget their experiences, as history is being kept alive. For SSPTV News, I'm John Eric Poli.
Thanks a lot, John. Well, coming up, I play some one-on-one with the center for the King's College women's basketball team, and it pretty much goes the way you would expect it. I embarrassed myself. And up next, Kent Jackson talks about a popular local camp in his weekly outdoor segment. This is SSPTV News, your place for 24 hours of your hometown news and information.
This is SSPTV News, brought to you by Samsung Productions and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
Jim Thomas started going to the YMCA's Camp Kresge as a boy. He tagged along with his neighbor, the camp's youth director, scrubbed pots in the kitchen, and he had a good time. It said he got hooked on camping, and that's one of the reasons that he joined the Y. Thomas now has become the executive director of the Wilkes-Barre YMCA. He realizes, however, that his career won't last forever, but now the camp might. With help from the North Branch Land Trust and a grant of $650,000 from the state, the YMCA protected much of the land, water, plants, and wildlife on the camp in perpetuity. A conservation easement will keep 647 acres of the YMCA's property in Denison Township as natural land, and perhaps by this fall, the land will be open to the public for passive recreation, such as hiking and birding. Even while preserving nearly 650 acres, the YMCA retains another 450 acres on which it may expand the camp. In each summer, the camp welcomes about 110 children a week for 10 weeks during day camp. Another 100 or more attend camp overnight for up to 6 weeks. The camp also hosts school field trips, family weeks, open houses, and parent-child weekends, and special groups such as Camp Asthma Cadabra for children with asthma and Camp Cadet run by the state police troopers. Protecting the watershed of Kresge Creek is one benefit of the deal, but the protected land also abuts other public land such as the Nescopec State Park and nearby state game land. The camp is just 1/4 mile from the Picton Preserve, which has another 483 acres of public land that a family donated to the Land Trust.
Time now for weather on SSPTV News.
And here's our local forecast from the National Weather Service. We have a hazardous weather outlook this evening. Thunderstorms are expected as a cold front moves in, and we could see damaging winds, large hail, and an isolated tornado also possible. Heavy flooding could also occur. Expect showers tonight and thunderstorms with a low of 63 degrees. On Wednesday, mostly cloudy, then gradually becoming sunny. We'll have a high in the mid-70s. Night looks good, mostly clear with a low of 53. On Thursday, mostly sunny, high of 72. At night, partly cloudy, low of 51 degrees. Friday is sunny with a high near 70. At night, we hit the upper 40s for our low, mostly clear. Saturday, sunny with a high near 70. At night, mostly clear, low of 50 degrees.
Tonight's weather is brought to you by Valley High Food Drive-In, the area's oldest ice cream and fast food restaurant. Open daily 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sundays and holidays 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. Stop by for our ice cream and yogurt, now featuring fat-free, no sugar-added soft frozen yogurt with flavors like vanilla, strawberry, and strawberries and cream. We also have burgers, hot dogs, fries, and much more. That's Valley High, Route 93 in West Hazleton, and like us on Facebook.
It won't be long now until the school buses are back on the highways. Here with some important advice for keeping everyone safe when it's back to school time is Sylvia Chabala. She is an intern with PennDOT. She's joining us back again before she heads back to school as well. Sylvia, thanks for being here. This is an important time of the year. People need to pay attention. I mean, they need to pay attention all the time, but especially when the kids are going back to school, kids of all ages.
Yeah, so what we're focusing on, August is our back to school safety month at PennDOT, so we're focusing on all different aspects of that for elementary kids, high school kids, college kids, and even parents and pedestrians.
So what advice do you have for us?
So for elementary kids, one of the big issues we're pushing is passing the bus, whether people are in a rush to get where they're going or they just aren't aware that that's illegal. It's a big issue. You're putting kids at risk, and so we're just trying to make people aware that, you know, slow down, and also keep in mind the rules and the penalties for passing a bus. So if you see a bus stopped with its stop arm out and red lights flashing, you have to stay at least 10 feet away from that bus. And some of the penalties for passing a bus are a $250 fine and points off of your driving record.
As it should be, because that's very serious. You have young children entering and exiting a bus and crossing the street, so this is highly dangerous.
Definitely. And, you know, bus drivers obviously try to be aware of that and try to focus on the kids' safety, but it's really something parents and kids need to be aware of too. And just whether you're an elementary kid or a high school kid, getting on and off the bus and anything near the road, you need to be really cautious.
All right, so that's for the school buses, but there's also students of different schools going back as colleges. And if you live in a college town or in an area where there are a lot of college students, you have to be careful for them as well.
Yeah, so again, even if you're not a student going back, we're trying to make pedestrians aware of the dangers that come with that. Even when you're in college, you can be a young and inexperienced driver. So if you live near a college, when you're walking your kids to school, walking your dog, you need to be aware that there are inexperienced drivers on the road. And especially as the semester starts back up, it's going to be a lot busier where you live.
And we see a lot of the kids too maybe walking to college or on their bicycles going to college.
Absolutely. Biking is huge in college. They ride their bikes around campus, even to stores around their campus. So it's always important to keep in mind the 4-foot rule. So if you're in a car, you can pass a bicycle, but you need to keep a 4-foot cushion between you and that bike.
So what other advice do you have for our viewers out there to help keep everyone safe for back to school?
So for high school and college drivers, we just want to remind people to drive smart. You know, don't be distracted. That's a big thing we're focusing on. You always hear about no texting while driving, no drinking while driving. Well, one thing we want to focus on is don't overpack your car with friends. That can be a huge distraction. Obviously, you want to go out and have fun, pack your gear with fun, but don't pack it with too many friends. First of all, there's not enough seat belts, so there's the danger in that. And also, it's a distraction. One thing we talk about is keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, and your mind on the task at hand. So don't be reaching for your cell phone. If you have friends in the car, have them answer that text, because it's really not worth the risk. And really focus on driving. Don't get too caught up in a conversation with your friends or goofing off with anyone. Just stay focused on the road.
Excellent advice. If people want to learn more, where do they go?
JustDrivePA.com.
All righty. Great advice for Sylvia. You're heading back to school yourself, so it was a pleasure having you to come here as a PennDOT intern to give us all. Did you learn a lot?
I did. It was a lot of fun, too.
All right, so you're heading back to school, so we ask you, stay safe as well.
Absolutely, and thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for being here today to give us some great advice for everyone. The kids are going to be heading back to school, kids of all ages, so please pay attention and be careful.
Thank you, Lisa. If I ever win the lottery, I'm just going to fly all over the world and check out every eclipse that happens ever in the world history. Here's your midday winning lottery numbers. Pick 2, 9, 5. Pick 3, 4, 2, 0. Pick 4, 6, 3, 3, 8. Pick 5, 4, 5, 4, 2, 2. The wild number is 7. We have an out of left field preview. When we come back, we'll have some fun.
Time now for sports on SSPTV News.
I'm calling an audible today. We're moving our Marian Catholic football preview to tomorrow, and today you can enjoy a little out of left field preview. Earlier this summer, I challenged King's College women's basketball center Olivia Hoffman to a game of SSPTV. It's horse with different letters. Big spoiler, I lost. You're actually not going to see any of that competition today. You're just going to see my interview with Hoffman before we started playing. To see the epic game of SSPTV, you'll have to watch season 4 of Out of Left Field. But here's a little preview.
Goes to the post, up and good at the buzzer. Hoffman.
This grudge match has been building all summer long as Olivia Hoffman, center for King's College women's basketball team, has been interning with SSPTV, and you kind of walked through the door, and almost initially I said, hey, would you ever want to play basketball? And you always jump at an opportunity.
I know, the time has come.
So here we are. We're going to play a little horse, maybe a little one-on-one. Maybe we'll call it SSPTV. I think it's the same number of letters. We're at the Beach Street Playground in Hazleton. I never played here growing up because I was on the other side of town, and my playground was kind of Arthur Street or Ott Miller. Did you grow up playing on playgrounds? Like, where did you grow up, and did you grow up playing playground basketball?
I'm from Kingston, Pennsylvania, but I was always a swimmer, actually. So up until 8th grade is when I decided I'd try basketball out. It's kind of when my growth spurt happened. And I took a turn, and my friends were like, yeah, go out for it, see how it goes. And that's where it all became.
So did it come from the growth spurt? You were kind of like, all right, maybe I should step on the basketball.
Yeah, exactly. And then, I mean, swimming and basketball are both winter sports. So I couldn't do both. And I started to like basketball. I thought, maybe I'll be good at this. And it took over from there.
Well, what have you improved the most in? I mean, when you first started, what were you really bad at?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, with my height, I was kind of all over the place. So throughout the years, I've gotten better at, defense, everything, actually. So I'm not all crazy being, 6'2" and thinking, oh gosh, this girl's this tall. But definitely, I used to like to jump when blocking. I still do it occasionally, but like, you're not supposed to take your feet off the ground because that's just, they're going to hit you with the automatic foul. So I've gotten better at staying on the ground and just using my height, because there's no reason I need to jump up another like 5-6 inches off the ground and scare people.
That had to be hard because that's discipline. Like I would always want to go in there and jump. Like that's changing the whole, it's almost a reflex.
They're just like, pretend there are nails in your feet right now and you can't get off. Like just stay there, plant your feet, be strong defensively.
I'm so scared, but I want to just drive on you and see what happens. Yeah. So you're talking about blocking, so what did you look for there? Because you obviously knew which way I was going.
I would like to say there's some type of skill with it, but I've gotten better. Like I didn't try to go, you know, and like murder you.
Okay.
So I just waited until the ball was out of your hand and just let my hand connect with it and be done with it.
The season 4 premiere of Out of Left Field is Monday, September 4th at 8 p.m. here on SSPTV. The story I did with Olivia will actually be a part of episode number 2, and you can see that in October. Let's take a look now at the SSPTV Standard Speaker scoreboard. Some Little League World Series scores for you. Great Lakes and Mexico, they won elimination games, so they will move on in Williamsport. Mid-Atlantic and Latin America, they're also moving on after getting victories. Mid-Atlantic representing our region, they get a 12-9 win over the West. And finally, New England, they eliminated Northwest, and the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders, they chopped Rochester 4-3 in a close game. And that is sports for this Tuesday.
Good evening, everyone. Here's today's Talk of the Town. There will be a free weight loss information session at the Lehigh Valley Hospital in Hazleton on Monday, August 28th at 1 p.m. Anyone who is struggling with weight loss or is considering weight loss surgery is invited. To register, call 570-501-4584. And that's today's Talk of the Town. SSPTV News would like to send our sincere condolences to the family and friends of these recently departed. Charles F. Bettine Sr. of Hazel Township. Mass is Wednesday at 10 a.m. at the Holy Rosary Church. The Firo Funeral Home is assisting the family. Thomas J. Donnelly Jr. of Weatherly. A celebration of life will be held at a later date with arrangements by the McNulty Funeral Home. Pauline A. Dowd of Hazleton. Services were previously held under the direction of the Joseph B. Conahan Funeral Home. Paul M. Kozel of Hometown. Mass is Friday at 10 a.m. at the parish of Saints Cyril and Methodius at the Church of St. Joseph. Friends may call Thursday from 5 to 9 p.m. at the Frank J. Bonin Funeral Home. David Elijah Schluck of Hazel Township. Mass is Thursday at 10 a.m. at the St. Mary's Byzantine Catholic Church in Hazleton. Friends may call Thursday from 9 to 10 a.m. in the church. The Frank J. Bonin Funeral Home is in charge of the arrangements. And Margaret Washko of Calairs. The Frank J. Bonin Funeral Home will announce the arrangements. Attention pay-per-view subscribers, if you see your name now on SSPTV News, you'll have 13 minutes to call in and win a free movie from Service Electric Cablevision. Today's winner is Daniel Lucas of Freeland. Call now at 570-455-7267 extension 104 for your free movie.
So here's your sports outlook for the rest of the week. Tomorrow we'll have that Marian Catholic football preview. Thursday we'll wrap up our previews with Hazleton Area High School. Friday we have our first Football Friday feature, and that's featuring the Monoy Area Shenandoah Valley Alumni Full Contact Football Game. That's a really interesting story. In news, we have an interesting health story from the Hazleton Area School District. You'll want to check that out as well. If you missed any of our coverage of the Eclipse or from Wings Over Hazleton, make sure that you check out our app, the Samsung Productions app. That's it, everyone. I'll see you again tomorrow. Take it easy.
Watch us online anytime at ssptv.com and follow us on Facebook and Twitter.